Okay, so now we're ready to start our painting. Let's get straight into it. So first of all, I'm going to select a new layer and I'm going to look for a color to fill the canvas. I'm looking for a sky blue, maybe a little bit grayer. Okay, yeah, that looks okay. Yeah. Next, I'm going to add some clouds. So I'm going to move the color up a little bit so it's a little bit of a lighter blue. I've selected the Concept Art brush because it's got a bit of texture to it, and I'm just going to rough in some cloud shapes. So this is really loose at this point. Not worrying about doing any details, outline. We just want a basic vanishing point for our clouds. And I'm just going to add a darker color to the underside of the clouds. This will give the effect that they're rain clouds, or there's a storm on the way or something like that. It's just a little bit of a value variation. Okay, so I've zoomed right out here and I'm using the perspective tool. What I want to do now is just to increase the perspective that we've already got, and this is a little trick that I've found helps. You can warp this as much as you like, and it gives a pretty good effect. So I'm going to create another layer and then just fill in with that sky color and collapse the cloud layer onto that second one. I'll just move that around a little bit and we can zoom back in. Now that didn't really involve much painting at all, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's got a sense of perspective. I'm going to duplicate that layer, and now I'm ready to start dropping in some mountains. So I've got a rough idea of what I want to do with this painting. It's sometimes good to have an idea what you're doing. Sometimes it's good just to explore, but I do have a rough idea of what I'm going to do. That's going to be our mountain in the background, so I've selected the lightest value of the landscape that we're going to use, and now I'm going to drag this down a little bit and we're going to place in some mid-ground values and textures. So I'm looking to create another set of mountains on the right hand side, and on this left hand side I think we're going to have a cliff face in the foreground. So I've dropped that in with the same mid value and completely blocked it in, and now I'm going to go even darker. We've gone right down now into the lower values, and I'm going to block in that foreground cliff face using the darkest value. This is still pretty rough at this stage, so we don't have to worry about any of these marks. They're all just there just to give us an idea. I'll throw in a little bit more dark texture there. Okay, now I'm going to use the Pointed Stump. Now this is a great tool for moving the color around on the canvas and blending it with existing colors. If you drag the color around, then you're actually going to end up with a few variations when it blends and creates a value range. Now this brush reacts with pressure sensitivity as well. If you put full pressure on when you're selecting a part of the canvas, you will continue to drag that colour until you take the pressure off, and then the colour will start to blend. So we'll just drag this around a little bit more in the background, try and separate some of these edges. We're starting to get a little bit of form to some of these mountains. Now this is going to take a little bit of time just to get the whole painting blocked in, but we don't have to worry about details at this stage because this is just blocking in, and we're basically just looking for some interesting shapes and trying to get an idea about what overlaps what. We're just trying to get an idea of the foreground and the midground. Now this will take a while just to block all this in and find all of these edges, so I can speed this up. And because I'm using the medium tablet, it's connected to the computer via Bluetooth, so there isn't any cables on there, it's completely wireless. Trying to create a little bit more form and a little bit of texture. Now I'm creating a new layer, and I'm going to change the layer setting to shadow map, and now I'm just going to work over the whole painting with the shadow map. I'm using the Concept Art brush. It's that brush that we used originally. It's got a little bit of texture to it. I just want to take the value down a little bit more. It was a little bit light. The shadow map is also color sensitive, so we've got a blue selected, so it's kind of taking away some of those warmer tones and creating the cooler look of a shadow. Okay, and I've collapsed that layer down. Now I've created a new layer, and we're going to drop in a river using the lasso tool. This is common in quite a lot of softwares. You may have seen this before. It's a selection tool that you can draw onto the screen, so it's not just a square or a circle. You can actually draw on the shape that you want to fill with a color. in this case I'm drawing in a river, a basic sort of river shape, and then I'm going to fill this in. So I'm pretty happy with that, so let's select a colour from the background, a grey blue, and fill that river in. And you can see me using the express keys there to deselect the selection. Now if you open up the free transform menu, I'm just going to change the perspective of this slightly. I feel like it's got a little bit more distance. Okay, and deselect that. Just move that into position. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm creating a new layer. And I'm going to do the same technique, but this time we're going to add some snow onto our mountain in the background. Now if I click down onto the plus button, we can add more than one selection. So I'm going to add a few different snow sections onto the sides of this main mountain in the background. A few on the other side. And one more down here. And now I'm going to fill those in. These are basically going to be our snow patches on our mountain. Now they look a little bit sharp, so I'm going to select the soften option, and I'm just going to soften those a little bit so they're not quite as sharp as they were. And we can also do this with the river layer. So focus and then soften. Now I'll try a quick value check. I'll turn this down a little bit. And that looks okay. Saturation, I'm going to take it up a little bit. Yep, okay, I'm pretty happy with that. In the next video we're going to start to add some colour to our painting.